The red dust of Mars swirled outside the dome, but inside, Vera's hydroponic garden was a riot of green. She hummed as she trimmed the tomato vines, her wrinkled hands steady. The plants didn't care that she was 72, or that her knees creaked when she crouched. They just grew like she'd taught them to. None. A voice crackled from her wristcom. Vera smiled. Her granddaughter, Leela, always called during lunch break. Still alive, Mija, Vera said, wiping soil on her overalls. Just harvesting peppers for tonight's stew. Leela's hologram flickered. You're supposed to retire, not play farmer. Mom says you'll fall and break a hip. Your mom worries like a hen, Vera snorted. But her smile faded as the call ended. The dome felt quieter now. She shuffled to the kitchenette, passing the old metal box on her shelf. It stayed locked. Inside were things she didn't need anymore. Tarnished medals, a faded photo of soldiers laughing in muddy trenches. 60 years, she thought. Long enough to forget the smell of smoke, the weight of her rifle. Almost. At night, the nightmares still came. 3 systems away, Captain Vrax adjusted his ocular implants, scowling at the data feed. Explain again why we're skipping this planet. He jabbed a claw at the blue-green world labeled Earth. His first mate, Del, tapped the screen. Sensor logs, sir, their species averages 1.2 violent incidents per day. Too unpredictable. Last crew who tried got creative with the cargo holds. Faxist. Slavers needed profit, not poetry. Fine, scan the colonies, maybe they're weak gather there. Vera woke sweating, the dream still cawing at her screams, a burning village, her hands sticky with blood that wouldn't wash off. She gripped the blanket until her knuckles whitened. Breathe. You're safe. The garden helped. She limped past rows of lettuce, fingers brushing leaves like they were prayer beads. When the nightmares lingered, she worked. By dawn, she'd rigged a new irrigation hose from spare parts. Still got it, she muttered, admiring the fix. Old habits stuck, even if war didn't. Frax's ship glided into Martian orbit. 1 human, he ordered. Elderly, minimal security risk. Cell hesitated. Sir, their history says even the young. You question me? Frax's tail lashed. That creature can barely walk, Grabet. Vera was singing when they took her an old song about mango trees and monsoons. She'd gone to sell tomatoes at the spaceport, a rare trip without her cane. The stun bolt hit her back. As darkness swallowed her, one thought burned sharper than pain. Oh, you picked the wrong abuela. Vera woke to the hum of artificial gravity and the smell of ammonia. Her wrists were bound behind her back with a sticky, resin-like cord. The floor beneath her was cold and metallic, vibrating faintly. Engines. Starship, she thought. Her hip screamed when she shifted, but she bit back a groan. A voice gurgled nearby. Don't move, they'll shock you again. She turned her head. The creature in the adjacent cell looked like a pile of wet seaweed with too many eyes. Its tendrils quivered as it spoke through a translator collar. New ones always scream. Where are we? Vera whispered. Auction transport. They take your kind to labor mines. The alien's eyes dimmed. Your planet's defenses were weak. Vera almost laughed. Earth's defenses. Mars' colony was practically a retirement village, but she kept her face slack, her breathing shallow. Let them think her harmless. Captain Vrax watched the security feed, bored. The human sat hunched in its cell, grey hair matted, hands trembling. Pathetic. Why do the others fear these creatures? He asked Cell. Legends, sir, stories of their wars, but this one's decayed. Cell gestured at Vera's hunched posture. Its bones are brittle, no threat. Vrax flicked his tail. Peered, sell it to the Crixus, they enjoy fragile things. Vera waited until the guard patrolled past, hulking reptilian things in black armor, stun rods crackling. She counted those steps. 12 paces between rounds. 7 minutes apart. She'd survived the jungles of Nueva Bolivia by counting. By waiting. Her fingers brushed the resin bindings. Heat-sensitive adhesive, she guessed. The slavers hadn't bothered to strip her clothes. Amateurs. She inched her hand into her overalls pocket, extracting a seed capsule, genetically modified Martian corn, tough enough to crack concrete. Slowly, she rolled it between her palms, grinding it into grit. The seaweed alien watched. What are you doing? Making sandpaper, Vera whispered. She rubbed the grit against the resin, sawing gently. You got a name? DK Ral. Vera. The resin frayed. How many guards? 2 per shift they. TK Raw flinched as boots climbed down the hall. Vera dropped the capsule, sagging into a feeble slump just as the guard peered in. It snorted, claws tapping the cell bars. Quiet meat. She coughed weakly. Water, please. The guard laughed a wet hacking sound and moved on. Freeing her hands took 23 minutes. Vera massaged her wrists, studying the cell. No vents. A laser barred door. Floor drains too small to crawl through. But the ceiling. She stood, knees popping, and ran her fingers along the seams. Maintenance panel. Of course, even slavers needed to fix pipes. The screws were standard hex bolts. She pulled a hairpin from her bun, twisted it into a makeshift driver. TK Rel's tendrils stiffened. You'll trigger alarms. Alarms need power. Vera pointed to the flickering light strip above. Their reactor's overworked. See the voltage dips? She unscrewed the panel, revealing a maze of wires and conduits. Lose a few connections, and she yanked a glowing blue cable. The cell bars fizzled out. Cell's console beeped. Section C-12 power fluctuation droned the AI. Again? Vrax snarled. Fix the cursed wiring after the auction. Vera crawled through the docks, TK Rail's translator collar clutched in her hand. The alien had refused to come. They'll kill you, it warned. They'll try, Vera said. The duct opened into a storage room. Crates stamped with alien symbols lined the walls. Weapons. No gardening tools. Hose, shovels, nutrient packs. Performing gear. Her blood went cold. They weren't just slavers. They were strip mining worlds. A sound made her freeze. Voices. 2 guards arguing ahead. She gripped her shovel, testing its weight. Too heavy. But the seed packets. She ripped them open. Genetically engineered earth soil microbes, illegal on half the planets. Vera sprinkled the powder into the air vent, then slipped back into the duct. 5 minutes later, the guards collapsed, clawing at their throats as the microbes devoured the oxygen in their lungs. Vera took the keycard and some rod. You're a demon, TK Ral whispered when she returned. Oh. Vera activated the stun rod, blue sparks reflecting in her eyes. Just a gardener who hates pests. The slaver ship was sleek, all curved obsidian walls and humming energy fields. Vera hated it. Too clean, too quiet, like a tomb. She crept past a glowing mural of alien constellations, her stolen stun rod tucked into her belt. TK Rel's translator collar hung around her neck, spitting out garbled warnings about motion sensors. Plan. She froze as a guard stomped down the corridor. Its scales gleamed like oil, and its claws tapped a rhythm against its thigh. Vera counted the steps. 7 seconds between glances left and right. Amateur. She'd seen rookies with better discipline during the siege of Caracas. When the guard passed, she ducked into a mess hall. Tables were bolted to the floor, trays stacked with grey nutrient cubes. Vera grimaced. No knives, but she pocketed a spoon. Captain Vrax glared at Zell. Explain the oxygen failure in Sector D. Faulty filters, sir, we've replaced them. And the power surges. Aging reactor coils, we'll repair them at the next port. Frax's tail twitched. This ship is embarrassing, fix it now. In his storage closet, Vera pried open a vent cover with her spoon. A flashback hit her like a stun bolt. Rain lashed her face as she crawled through mud, a grenade in one hand, a screwdriver in the other. The enemy drone tower loomed ahead. Cut the power, her lieutenant had said. No explosions, they'll hear. She'd used the spoon then, too, short-circuiting the tower's wiring. They'd laugh about it after, calling her Abuela Cuchara. Spoon grandma. Vera shook off the memory and crawled into the vent. The ship's surveillance hub buzzed like a beehive. Screens flickered with feeds of crying captives and smug slavers. Vera studied the central console. No guards. Arrogant bastards. She jammed the spoon into a panel seam, prying it open. Wires coiled like neon snakes. Primary cameras. Secondary. Backup all. She yanked a crimson cable. Half the screens went dark. Oops, she muttered. The remaining feed showed confused guards scrambling. Sal stared at his malfunctioning monitors. Sir, sectors B through F just lost surveillance. Frax hissed. Sabotage. Impossible. Prisoners are catalogued and collared. Then it's your incompetence. Frax backhanded him. Find the problem. Theo returned to the cells at that mealtime, blending into the crowd of alien prisoners shuffling for food. TK Rao gaped as she slipped back into her cell, resealing the bars with a flick of the stolen keycard. Where did you? Stretch my legs. She tossed a nutrient cube at him. Eat, you'll need strength. Why risk escape for this? TK Rao gestured at the crumbling cube. You're not cargo, Vera said. None of us are. That night, she dismantled the sonic locks on 3 cell blocks using the spoon and a wad of nutrient cube gum. The guards blamed moisture corrosion. By day 4, the ship was unraveling. Lights flickered. Engines stuttered. Crewmates snapped at each other. Vera watched, smiling, as she scrubbed floors with the other prisoners. A guard kicked her bucket. Faster, worm. She coughed, hunched and trembling. Yes, sir, sorry, sir. When it left, she poured her dirty water into a vent. The hiss of fried circuitry was her lullaby. Vrax stormed into engineering, claws unsheathed. The gravity generator failed during my shower. The tech cowered. W were checking the coolant lines, sir. Check faster. Vera saved her boldest move for the armory. She'd memorized the guard rotation. 2 minutes alone at shift change. The door used a biometric scanner key to Slaver's heat signatures. She pressed TK Rao's stolen collar against it. Access denied. HMPH. Vera licked her thumb and smeared mud from the hydroponic sabotage onto the sensor. It shorted. The door slid open. Inside, racks of plasma rifles gleamed. Vera ignored them. Too traceable. Instead, she emptied a crate of stun grenades into her mop cart. Grandma's got groceries, she whispered. Self-found Frax guzzling fermented oil in his quarters. Sir, the human. If you mention another malfunction, I'll space you. No, sir, the human prisoner is requesting a meeting. Frax dropped his flask. What? Vera sat cross-legged in her cell, hands folded, as Frax loomed over her. You're the one causing problems, he rasped. She blinked innocently. Problems, I'm just an old woman, but I did notice your ship's reactor is unstable. Frax leaned closer. Steak. 6 of plasma conduits, she said. Or you'll explode before reaching port. His tail stiffened. You lie. Vera shrugged. Your funeral. That evening, Frax ordered a full reactor inspection. While the crew was distracted, Vera distributed stun grenades to the prisoners. The hydroponic bay reeked of decay. Vera wrinkled her nose as she shuffled past wilting alien ferns, her mop cart clattering behind her. The slavers had ordered her to clean the biohazard after their plants began using black sludge, a problem she'd helpfully caused by cross-contaminating their water supply with Martian root rot spores. Pathetic, muttered the guard at the door, a hulking insectoid with serrated forearms. Can't even keep weeds alive. Vera nodded meekly, hiding her smile. Wait till you see what's next. In the corner, she accidentally knocked over a drum of nutrient gel. The guard groaned. Clean it, worm. Yes, sir. Vera knelt, her hands shaking as she scooped the slime. Secretly, she filled 3 empty fertilizer pods strapped to her thighs. Concentrated nitrogen-phosphorus mix, the label said. Perfect for making things go boom. Captain Vrax stared at the reactor report, his scales dull with stress. No leaks? None, sir, said the engineer. But the human was right, the plasma conduits were misaligned. A few more days and... silence. Frax crushed the datapad. That frail creature had saved his ship. Why? Vera dumped her stolen nutrients into the crew's food synthesizer that night. By morning, half the slavers writhed in agony, their digestive tracts scorched by the pH imbalance. Plague screamed a guard, abandoning his post to vomit. Vera seized the chance to slip into life support. The air filters were massive, whirring discs coated in electrostatic mesh. She studied the control panel. Sea-Otwo Scrubber's oxygen mix simple. Too simple. She recalled the Kestrel outpost siege, where she'd suffocated an enemy battalion by hacking their air vents. Same principle, fancy attack. Vera programmed the filters to recycle carbon monoxide instead of trapping it. Then, for flair, she stuffed the vents with pollen from the hydroponic-based corpse flowers. Cell collapse first. Can't breathe, he gasped during patrol, clawing at his throat as the ship's air thickened with toxins and spores. Panic spread faster than the poison. Crewmates accused each other of sabotage. A fist fight broke out in the mess hall. Vera watched from the shadows, blending in with the prisoners. Just like Nueva Bolivia. Divide. Distract. Destroy. TK Ralph found her rewiring a power relay in the cargo hold. You'll kill us all? Well. Vera tossed him a respirator mask stolen from medical. Wear this, the gas only targets their lung structure. She nodded at a crate. Take those to the others. Inside were 50 masks. How? TK Ralph's tendrils trembled. I told the quartermaster we needed sanitation gear. Vera winked. Technically true. Vrax staggered into the bridge, his vision swimming. The human's words haunted him. Fix the conduits or explode. Was this another trick? Capty. The nav officer pointed at the screens. Prisoners in Sector C are singing. On the feed, Vera led a chorus of aliens in a wobbling chant. TK Ralph's species trilled, a jelly-like captive thrummed its membranes, even the silent rock being tapped its claws. They are praying, Vrax hissed. Let them rot. He didn't notice Vera's hand signals, tactical gestures from a dead Earth militia. Distraction achieved. While the crew gawped at the ritual, Vera sneaked into the engine room. Her knees protested as she climbed into the coolant pipe's access shaft. Flashback. 16 years old, squirming through a collapsed subway tunnel to plant charges under an enemy garrison. Her brother's voice. V, if you get stuck, I'll name my first kid after you. She hadn't been stuck then. She wasn't stuck now. The photon drive's core pulsed below her, a miniature sun caged in quartz. Vera emptied a stolen nutrient pod into the coolant vat. Organic matter plus plasma. Kaboom. Alarms blared as the engines overheated. Coolant contamination, screamed the engineer. We need to purge the lines. Frax slammed the emergency dump button. Precious fuel flooded into space along with Vera's remaining spores. The prisoners gathered around her that night, masks hiding their faces but not their hope. What now? Asked TK Ralph. Vera unfolded a hand-drawn map, cleaning schedules, patrol routes, weak points. The slavers think we're beaten, time to teach them Mido. Mideo? She bared her teeth. There. A dawn chaos bloomed. Prisoners accidentally spilled lubricant on the hangar floor. A god slipped, fracturing its tail. Another tripped into a live power conduit fried by its own stun rod. When Vrax ordered all captives confined to cells, Vera triggered her masterpiece. She'd swapped the laundry detergent with hydrated lime. The crew's uniforms dissolved mid-shift, burning their hides. Naked, scorched slavers ran screaming through the halls. Demons wailed to God. The human summoned demons. Frax cornered her in the hydroponic bay, his claws cracking the tiles. Ew. Vera clutched her mop, eyes wide. And me, sir? Drop the act. He lunged. She swung the mop handle, hollow, filled with pressurized acid from the nutrient gel. It sprayed his eyes. Arg. Frax stumbled, blinded. You should have grabbed a younger woman, Vera said, kicking him into the sludge vat. We've got nothing to lose. As the captain flailed, she hobbled out humming. The ship was almost ready. So was she. The sludge vat bubbled ominously, but Vera didn't wait to see if Frax survived. She limped to the nearest control panel, her acid-stained mop still in hand. TK Ralph found her there, his translator collar buzzing with urgency. The crew's mobilizing, they're sealing sectors. Good. Vera typed commands into the panel. Means they're scared, round up the others, time for the fuga. Fuga. Escape with style. In the engine room, Vera's allies gathered. Prisoners from a dozen species, clutching stolen tools and stun grenades. She taught them well. A hulking rock being held wrenched like a club. A jelly-like Drivian quivered with a plasma torch. Phase 1, El Sasto, Vera said, tapping the reactor schematic. We fake a radiation leak, they'll panic, run to escape pod. Phase 2, a predator, we take the bridge. TK Ralph's tentacles coiled nervously. And if they call our bluff? Vera grinned. Who said it's a bluff? She'd rigged the reactor's sensor array days ago. Now, she injected a vial of Martian iron isotopes into the coolant lines. The ship's alarm screamed. Warning. Core breach imminent. Evacuate. Perfect, Vera muttered. Captain Vrax clawed his way out of the sludge vat, scales blistering. The alarms pierced his skull. Lies, he roared. The humans' lies. But his crew didn't listen. They stampeded past him, shoving toward the escape pods. Vera watched the chaos on a stolen datapad. Though she told TK Ral. Sabotage the pod controls. No survivors calling for help. The prisoners scattered. On the bridge, Zol frantically hailed nearby ships. Mayday, core collapse away. A stun grenade rolled at his feet. Easy ZZT. Vera stepped over his twitching body. Thanks for the chair. The controls were alien, but fear was universal. Thea patched into the intercom, channeling her best angry abuela voice. Attention, Pendijos, the ship's going over in 10 minutes, better run. She didn't need a translator. The scream said it all. Frax found her on the bridge, his left eye fused shut. You vermin. Vera spun the captain's chair to face him. Took you long enough. He lunged. She kicked the desk, sending a cup of molten nutrient gel into his face. Ag. Hard enough for you? She tasered him with the stun rod. Set. With Fraxit tied to a railing, Vera activated the con array. Galactic channels crackled open. Testing. Uno, dos, tres. She leaned into the mic. To all slavers come listening, this is Vera Rees of Earth. You took the wrong grandma. She uploaded footage of her sabotage, guards slipping, engines failing, Frax's humiliation. Come near our worlds again, and I'll personally mail you to the Crixus in pieces. Capiche? She ended with Earth's anthem played on a comb and a ration tin. The escape pods launched, carrying the slavers into the void. Fear disabled their thrusters, leaving them adrift. They'll be found eventually, TK Ral said. Good, let them tell the story. The prisoners gathered in the hangar, hugging, weeping. Vera handed TK Ral the helm. You're navigating, set course for Mars. Me, but I've never. You'll learn. She tossed him the captain's hat. I've got stew on the stove. As the ship pierced Martian airspace, Vera stood at the viewport. Her hydroponic dome glowed below, tiny and brave. Leela's voice boomed over comms. Unidentified vessel, identify or be fired upon. Vera smiled. Lower your guns, Meja, it's just Nan. They threw Vera a party. Colonists cheered as she marched off the ship, slavers' banner dragging behind her. Leela hugged her so tight Vera's ribs creaked. You lunatic. Leela sobbed. Language, Vera chatted. She handed her the banner. For your wall. That night, as Martian moons rose, Vera sat in her garden. The metal box sat open, metals gleaming beside a new edition, Frax's claw, preserved in resin. TK Ral's voice crackled from her comm. We're free, thank you. Denoda, she said. The nightmares didn't come. The slaver's ship hovered over Vera's hydroponic dome like a bruised storm cloud. Martian defense drones swarmed it, lasers charging, until Leela's voice crackled through the comms. Stand down, it's her. Vera waved from the viewport, her apron still streaked with engine grease. Below, the colony streets flooded with gawking neighbors. Leela stormed up the ship's ramp, tears and fury worn on her face. You vanished. For weeks, Mom thought you were dead. Vera pulls her into a hug. I left a note. Want to teach some punks manners is not a note. Leela sniffed, then glared at the slaver's banner tied to the ship's rail. What even is this? A souvenir. Help me fold it. News drones buzzed as Vera limped home. Colonists cheered, tossing Martian lilies in her path. She scowled. I'm not a parade float. But her chest warmed when she saw her daughter, Maria, waiting at the dome. Maria said nothing, just cupped Vera's face in her hands, thumbs brushing the new burns on her cheeks. You're grounded, Maria whispered. Vera laughed until her ribs ached. Galactic gossip networks exploded. Human elders single-handedly wrecked slaver Armada. Earth's grandmas now classified as high risk. In a smoky asteroid bar, slaver captains huddled over grainy footage of Vera tasering Vrax. New rule growled 1. No human older than 30, especially the tiny ones. Vera refused interviews. She spent days in debriefings with Martian officials, shrugging off their awe. How'd you bypass their security? Asked a wide-eyed engineer. Spoon, she said. They didn't believe her. At night, the nightmares tried to return, slaver claws, engine fires, TK Ral's scream. But now, when Vera jerked awake, she'd shuffled to the garden. The plants didn't care about war. Tomatoes ripened. Peppers blushed red. Life went on. Leela moved in temporarily to help. She replaced Vera's cracked comm unit, fixed the dome's air filters, and hid all the spoons. You're worse than your mother, Vera grumbled. Learn from the best. Leela pointed at Vera's metal box, now displayed on the kitchen shelf. Why'd you hide these? Vera stirred her stew. Old mistakes don't need polishing. A package arrived from TK Ral, a hologram of his homo, lush and swirling with bioluminescences. We are free, you are terrifying, thank you. Vera placed it beside her tomatoes. Months later, a familiar voice is from her come. Vera Ruiz. She paused, potato half peeled. Frax, how's the eye? The ex-captain's face flickered, scarred and skeletal. My fleet's gone, my honor. Should I have stayed away from Earth? You'll pay, he spat. I'll find you, I'll. Vera muted him and called Leela. Meja, how do I block a number? Autumn came. Maria and Leela rebuilt the garden shed, nagging Vera to relax for once. She pretended not to hear, knee-deep in compost. She's worse than before, Maria muttered. Worse. Leela grinned. She's happy. One evening, Vera opened the metal box. Maria gasped. She'd never seen it unlocked. This one's for Nueva Bolivia. Vera polished a tarnished star. This for the kids I couldn't save. Maria gripped her hand. You saved thousands. Didn't feel like enough. It is now. The nightmare stopped. On Vera's 73rd birthday, the colony threw a party. Kids swarmed her, begging for slaver stories. Tell us about the acid mop. Nunca. She handed them peppers instead. Eat your veggies. That night, Vera sat in her garden humming. The stars burned cold and clear. Somewhere out there, slaves flinched at her name. But here, the tomatoes were sweet, the soil alive, and her hands, still sticky with sap, still steady, had work to do.